Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about the Knafs Urban EDC exclusive landers in M390 steel. So these are pretty cool. They come in a package and you get some cool stuff with it. They're going to be $149 at Urban EDC. They are dropping next week, which is going to be Wednesday, I believe the 22nd. I'll put a link down below. If you guys use that link, it really helps the channel. I really appreciate that, but you don't have to, of course. And I'll put the date down there just to be sure so you guys know. This should post around that time. And what I wanted to do was show you the product and then show you what you can do, because they're giving you options here. It's pretty cool. So this is the internal package. This is what you get. You get this box right here. And this has some information on it. Yeah, pretty interesting. You gotta appreciate that. They even give you the trick I told you about, where you flip it upside down and then you bend using the handle. Thread locker, lube, screws, blade angle. Pretty cool stuff to have on the box. You open it up, you're gonna get probably, I don't know what comes with the exact knives, because I got these a little early, and but I believe you're gonna get like saltwater taffy and some other cool stuff, which is nice. You get these cards, and then you get the box, and I already showed you that one. So let me close this box up. And this comes in two versions. So you have a green G10 and with black blade and black hardware, and you have a tan G10 with stonewash blade and satin hardware. I believe that's it. I don't think they did, you know, the opposite variations and then there's 4 versions. It's possible, but I don't think so. You might have to buy both to do that. So this is going to be the lander, and this is the one I have already kind of, you know, messed with a little bit, and I'll show you that. But let me show you this one. This is how it's going to come. So you open this up, and you're going to get a little bit of extra hardware. So what they do is they give you an extra 2 of the scale screws and an extra 2 of the clip slash filler tab slash structural screws for underneath. No pivot screw or anything like that. I think this is what they found strips out the most when people are trying to do swaps, so they just include it so you don't have to worry about it. You can order hardware from Knafs directly if you go to their website. I'll link them down below too. But then you get the knife. So you're gonna get either the green G10 with a black wash blade and black hardware, like I said, or you're gonna get a tan G10 with the satin and the stone wash. I apologize, this is actually a machined satin, not a stone wash. So it's not like a belt satin, but it's like a machined satin, kind of like on the Divo mash, you know, if you got the satin versions. Then you also get an extra set of scales. This is what's cool. So the scales that come installed on the knife are contoured. So these are nice contoured G10 scales, which is really nice. So you have that. And then you can get these flat scales that have the wave pattern on it. The Sigaha, which I call Sigaha pattern, that are on the scales. And again, if you get green, you get the green colored ones. And I'm going to show you how to swap these, because I think some people might not be aware or think it's daunting or something like that. And I just want to show you how easy it is. Now, you could get both, and then if you wanted to, you know, put the tan on the black blade, then you could do that, and then you could put your green ones on the satin blade. You know, you'd have your option there, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to grab my Disassembly Tools. These are always linked down below in the description. I will put them at the top of the description for this video because I'm using them. I use this Tinker Force sort of holder, and then it comes with this little mini tray that I sometimes use by itself instead of this big one. Like earlier, I was tweaking this one, and I just put everything in here, and it was easy peasy. And I don't have to get out the whole tray, but this thing's awesome. It holds all my maintenance tools. I have all the KPLs, so I have heavy, original, and ultralight. You can get those at knifepivotlube.com. Use my code LEFTY10. There's a link down below. Same with these little microfiber Q-tips. I love these for cleaning out detent holes, bearing tracks, literally anything, cleaning the tang of a blade to get oil off. I have a bunch of Weehaw bits here. Always recommend you use high quality bits. Weehaws, in my opinion, tend to do the best. I have two drivers. I have the Audacious Concepts driver here. I believe that's the regular ANSO tool, and this is the V5.0 ANSO tool. Basically the same, just different lengths and everything. I love both of them. And then I have my Loctite of choice, which is super glue. Not everybody likes to do super glue. You may prefer blue Loctite, and you can, of course, use that. But this is just what I happen to use. So I'm going to need a T6 and a bit driver. So I'm just going to use this little guy, pop my T6 in. That should be all I need for this project. And then I'm going to take these scales off. Now, there's a common misconception with the Lander or the TRM, knives where they have the swappable scales. You always hear people say, all you got to do is take these two screws off and then yank the scales off and you're good to go. Well, that's bullshit, because you actually have to remove 4 screws on each side. It's 8 total screws you have to remove to swap the scales. It's not just bing, bing, boom, right? I have to remove the 2 scale screws, which are easy to recognize because they have this thicker sort of head to them compared to these, which I have to remove as well because the scale won't come off without removing these, because the filler tab screws into the liner. So we take these off, and I'll put these over on this side to make it easy, like that. And then now I can take this off, okay? So it's 4 screws, not 2. I know that's not much. It's just a difference, because you always hear people say how easy it is, and it is, but it's not 2, it's 4. And then what I always do is make sure these are tight. Every time I get into the knife, I'm always going to check if these structural screws are tight. Why wouldn't you do that, right? Your pivot is most likely Loctited from factory, so you probably shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, you have the option to obviously just swap one side, put that back on, take the other one off, swap that, right? I'm going to go ahead and break the whole thing down so that you can just see it. But that's the one scale there. And then we'll take this one. I'm not going to do a full disassembly of the knife. I'm just going to take both scales off to show you something that I think is cool. And then, of course, to get to this screw, I have to take the clip off. So I'm going to take the clip off, place it over here, and put those screws together right there. And then I got to get this bad boy out. Make sure you put good pressure down. You're going in straight, and you give it a good twist. You should have no problem getting it out. So then I'm going to knock that screw out, put it over here, and here's our other scale. So here's the underside, the undercarriage of the knife. And the cool thing I wanted to show you is that this is essentially a fully functioning frame lock once you take it apart like this. You can, well, if you can get a grip on it, you can flick it out. It locks up, has no issue. Shake it down. So it's essentially a fully functioning knife at this point, which I think is pretty cool, you know. It is super thin, and yeah, I just find that interesting. So there you go. And you'll see it looks a little off center like this. But usually once you put it back together, it actually centers up. So there's something about the scales that push that over. I don't know. We'll see. Now, obviously, this is a little dangerous because you got the tip here. You're not supposed to carry it like this, but I just wanted to show you. You could technically mount the clip probably. They are gonna be steel liners and everything. I assume they're steel. Yeah. But you have an M390 blade on here, which is really cool. Definitely an upgrade. I do have one of the OGs here. This one I put 80s camo carbon scales on from Carbodize, which costs more than the knife, twice as much. Not twice, but close. And this one's in D2. But it's pretty cool because it's got Ben's signature on there, which is kind of sweet. And I keep this in my pouch in my work backpack, and if I ever need a knife, you know, I have one there. I may or may not take these scales and put it on one of these M390 versions at some point, but for the video and everything, I want to use these. So, cool, right? Now, we're going to put this on. All right, mounts right on there like that. Then we take our 2 body screws with the thicker sort of heads on them. Tighten that down. I'm not going crazy. I'm just tightening it till I feel resistance and then chilling out. I am left-handed, but I have this one set up lefty already, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it right-handed. I'll probably end up giving this one away or something like that, so might as well just leave it right-handed. One thing I want to note that is a bit of a bummer on the Lander, it's not like a huge deal. It doesn't really bother me that much, but if you're left-handed, it might. Hold on, let me just get these 2 in there. Then you can see what it looks like. The bummer is that this filler tab does not fit the left side very well. So they should have made a separate filler tab for the left side if you were gonna, or the right side, I guess, for this side if you were gonna switch the clip. Because when I pop this in here, you'll see it doesn't fit in here well. Here's my other one I have set up for lefty. You see that gap? And that's a bit unfortunate because it's probably a super inexpensive piece that they could have had QSP make to fit, you know, and they could have made one for the left side. I just think that would have been nice for us lefties, but I digress. So I'm going to put that one in. Just tighten that down. This is why having a driver like this with a spinny cap is very nice, because you can get it in there, give it some spins. You see there it kind of bound up a little bit. So to me, that means I need to back up, check the threading, wait for that click. I don't know if you heard that or saw it, but it clicked, and now tighten back down. And then I tighten until, you know, I'm not trying to kill anything. I'm just trying to tighten it until it really stops. And I can't really turn anymore without putting some oomph into it. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to strip these. So then I'm going to take this, do the same thing because I didn't tighten these. Boom. Boom. So these aren't going anywhere, but I didn't have to strip them out because I'm not going crazy here. Then we're going to take the clip, pop that on. I guess we kept the screw in there on accident. And slide that in. Sometimes you got to do it this way. I'm not a fan of coming from the top like this, just because I have the camera and I don't know, it's just awkward. I try to do everything like this, holding it up. So that one's in. And this one might be, we'll see if it's a problem, just because sometimes that bottom flares up a little bit because it's got that bend to it. Wait for the click. There we go. And we're tight. Okay, let me get these out of here. I was hearing like... Okay, we're good. Sorry, I thought I was hearing like zings, like something was going on. So, you'll see now that we did that, we can look at that centering, and it's damn near dead nuts. It's almost like the scale somehow centered it up, or one scale's wider, so, you know, and they know that when they make these knives, so... it came centered once I put the scales back on. There's no play. This one's a little bit tight in the sense that, you know, it doesn't just free fall. You kind of got to kick it down. This one I took apart right before this video, and I was checking to see if I could put skiffs in here. You cannot. So before anybody goes and takes their Lander apart to try to skiff it, you cannot, because it has a 4mm pivot. I've never seen a 4mm pivot, but it has a 4mm pivot and 3/64 ball bearings. Those do not exist from Skiff or anybody else that I know of. So it may be coming in the future because I let Skiff know that that is the size for these. But yeah, so you don't even want to bother doing that. They're nice Teflon washers with ceramic balls, or bearings with ceramic balls. They're good bearings, so you don't really need to worry about it anyway. One thing I did notice on this one is this scale, this green contoured one on this side, for some reason, is not like mounting right, because when I check for play, I can hear it like clicks in my hand. Something about this scale is not seating right. So what I want to do is take it out. And see what could be going on, because I'm not sure. It's almost like the scale screw. Ugh. It almost feels like the scale screw down here is not giving enough pressure up here to keep this scale down. And I don't know why, because I haven't had that issue with any other one. Yeah, see, it's very solid. I don't even feel this moving or anything. No issue. So I don't know what the deal is. If it's the contour, or if it's could be something I did when I took it apart. Maybe the stop pin didn't seat right, but it looks good. I don't know. Everything looks right to me. I might just, for shits and giggles, loosen these up. Check those. They look good to me. Yeah, I won't go as tight this time. Action's phenomenal, centering's good, and there's nothing moving there, so it's got something to do with this scale. So let's try it again, and then we'll, if we have the issue again, I'm going to try swapping the scale and see if there's something else going on. Yeah. See, this one isn't seating as deep. I don't know why. Let me try swapping this. So they give you this extra hardware. Why don't we try utilizing it? Take this guy right here. See if this one seats a little better. Yeah, like right here, it just starts to not want to tighten all that well. Let's see if maybe there's something in the threads. Let me try opening it. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. I'm going to do what I shouldn't do and crank it a little bit. Yeah, see, it's not quite sitting into the scale where this one is seated in. I don't know if you can tell, but you see that one's seated in. This one sticks out a little bit. I don't know if I want to keep... closer. It's going to strip out at some point, and then I'm going to be fucked. Don't want to do that. Well, okay. One little more turn. Let's try. Okay. No popping sounds. We may have fixed it, but also could be the clip. Once the clip mounts, maybe it pulls something the wrong way. Let me make sure I get this one out of here. This is kind of the detective part of knife maintenance. So we got that one in and this one in. Again, just tight enough to where it stops me. There we go. No movement on the clip. Let's see. No pops. Shaking down. Seems fine. So I don't know. Maybe I was too afraid to tighten that down more because it was giving me a good amount of resistance, but it just needed to be tightened, I guess. Feels great now. So, all right. That right there is why they give you the extra hardware. There was one clip screw I swapped out too because it felt fine, but it just was feeling a little bit tough to tighten down for me. And I was a little worried about it, so I just swapped it. You know, when you have that option, it makes things easier. Can you just be like, I'm not sure. Yeah, let me just swap it, right? So shout out to Knafs and LeftyEDC for providing that. But here's your Sagaha pattern on this satin version. And then your contour G10. So your choice, you get both, which I think is really cool. And of course, if you have aftermarket scales, you can always, you know, you could add those on if you want. You can see these studs are black on here with the stonewash, and they went with stonewash or bead blasted studs on this one. They're very nice studs. They're very good in hand, I've noticed. So I think that's enough of a ramble here. So let me know what you guys think. If you're going to pick up a set or, you know, a kit, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, $149, M390, G10. I think that's pretty reasonable considering you get 2 sets of scales, some extra goodies and whatnot, Knafs style. And M390, of course, which is really cool. So should we cut something and see if it's sharp? That's probably a good idea. So here's the satin one. Okay, and here's the black wash. You do feel the contour a little bit. At first I was like, I don't know if I really feel a difference, but both are good. I really enjoyed the original Lander with flat scales, but you know, why not? Yeah, this one feels a little sharper, but both are nice and sharp. I love QSP's black wash. That's the OEM on this. I think they did a great job on that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the LeftyEDC exclusive Lander, and appreciate you guys. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Link is down in the description if you want to pick one of these up on Wednesday. And I will catch you later. Peace.